Everyone, first of all, a big welcome back to Shimon, our dear Shimon. Okay, Baruch Hashem. All right, yesterday we started the sugya. Yesterday we started the sugya of Sechar Shabbos on profiting and making money on Shabbos, a very, very common, very nagea shaila in many businesses, and we mentioned some of the shailas that we're going to try to get to, such as websites, Amazon, eBay, and the such. So the truth is we need to do a little bit more halacha prep before we get to Amazon and eBay, which maybe we'll do the beginning of next week, because it's such a common shaila, it's such a nagea shaila, and I don't want to sort of do it very quickly, which will not be doing justice to such an important subject. So today what I want to do is I want to go through many of the common shailas that come up in Sechar Shabbos, finishing off with the two types of havlah that we started yesterday, go through some of the practical halacha l'maisa, and be'ezus Hashem next week we'll start the sugya of Mekach or Memcha doing business on Shabbos, and we'll end with the shailas which are negea to both businesses and Sechar Shabbos, such as websites, Amazon, eBay, and the like, which we will discuss. So that's the Seder Dvarim of what we're going to be doing the next few Shurim Be'ezus Hashem. And then of course we'll move on to a crazy amount of different subjects that I keep on thinking and adding to my list, ever-growing list of shailas of business in halacha. Let's begin, Rabbi Isai. Yesterday we started a sugya of havlah. Havlah, there are two types. Let's explain them very carefully. People often make a mistake. Havlah number one means, right? Rashi and Baba Metzia, we mentioned the Gemara yesterday, but the Rashi says like this: if I can absorb the payment into something else of during the week, in other words, it's not a Shabbos payment, it's a payment for Shabbos and a weekday together, and it's one payment, and it's not paid per the hour or by the day, then it's considered to be mutter. That's Havlah, right? So the simple example, we gave an example of a bank, which is you pay the bank. Generally the Goyish banks go by 12 to 12. They go by the Goyish day, the Christian day, which is not like Shabbos Kodesh, which means every Shabbos has within it some of the weekday, and they pay for that, right? For example, if you have a babysitter and you pay your babysitter $100 a week, that's the Metzias, and they have to do Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Shabbos, whatever, every second day they're working. If it happens to be that one Shabbos they go away and they say, I can't be there this Shabbos, you're not going to take away money. Oh, the Shabbos, we're taking out $20. No, you pay $100 a whole week. And therefore it's a week payment that's not paid specifically for Shabbos, which is why it's going to be mutter, right? Because I'm paying for the whole week. That happens to be one of those days is Shabbos Kodesh. Or an example like this, a Balkoira. Someone that lines in a shul, right, and they charge money for such a thing. How are you allowed to pay? How are they allowed to receive the money for that when at the end of the day it's getting money for Shabbos, Chaz Shabbos? The answer is there's preparation before Shabbos. If there's preparation before Shabbos and I'm paying for one thing, I'm not paying them to line, I'm paying them to prepare also, and the preparing was done Erev Shabbos. Memela, I'm preparing for something which was done during the week and on Shabbos as one payment, which is why it's going to be mutter in that case. The same way that if a person hires a caterer or a waitering service and they do something a lot before Shabbos, after Shabbos, and on Shabbos, and then paying one payment for everything, so Shabbos happens to be absorbed in during the week, and that's why it's mutter. Now, by the way, it cannot be some small little thing that they do. They can't come to your house and put one tablecloth on and leave and say, oh, I did something Erev Shabbos. It has to be a significant amount that they do Erev Shabbos for it, or Motzei Shabbos, for it to be considered that is Havlah, and then it will be mutter. Let's move on now to the second type of Havlah, which is also extremely, very, very important and very negea. Shaila of the second type of Havlah. Okay, so this type of Havlah, by the way, is not brought Lamaisa in Shulchan Aruch. It's not brought down in the Mishnah Berurah. For this, you have to look at the Noidib Yehida. The Heilige Tzlach, the Noidib Yehuda brings down Madura Tinyana Simon Chav Vov Diva Hamaskel Ulefi Zeh. Very important Marmokim. There's a Tshuva in the Marishag in Chelik Aleph Simon Samachei, the Mishnah Alochins in Chelik Dalet Simon Lamed Bey, Shevet Alevi Chelik Tes Simon Samach Vov, and other places as well for the second type of Havlah. What is the second type of Havlah? Let's explain it very simply. If you come to my house and you say, can I please buy off your bottle of Coca-Cola? Right? I need a bottle of Coca-Cola. I need my Coke Zero. It's very choshev. What Shabbos Kodesh without a Coke Zero, right? Shlomo? And therefore, if that's the case, I need to buy a Coke Zero from somebody. Now, I can give it to you. I don't have to give it to you for free. I'm allowed to ask my money back. right? I'm allowed to do that. I don't have to give you Coca-Colas for free. I don't have to give you my things for free of charge, which means I can charge you for my Coke Zero that you bought off me on Shabbos Kodesh. But once I did that, says the Tzlach, the Noidib Yehuda, I can add money for profit at the same time, because once you're paying me back halachically, which you're allowed to because you bought off me a bottle of Coca-Cola, so therefore I can charge double the price or whatever it is, the profit that you're making, obviously not doing I know, that you're allowed to go along and pay that. Because it's havlah, it's sort of absorbed in a payment that's mutter. So for example, if I have an Airbnb, and you want to rent my apartment, my Airbnb, and it costs money, right? There's electricity, there's water, there's gas, things are going, it costs money. I don't have to give it to you for free. I'm allowed to charge you for that on Shabbos. Don't do a Shabbos. But it costs me money to run the Airbnb. And therefore, if you're in my apartment, it costs me money. So I'm allowed to charge for that. Once I'm allowed to charge for that, I can then go along and say, I'm charging extra also. So I'm allowed to make profit in that way. Again, Hilchos Mekach HaMemcha will discuss Be'ez Hashem next week how we get out of the Shabbos doing business on Shabbos. That we'll talk about. But Al Kaponim aus the Sechar Shabbos Shaboy. There's no Issa, says the Noidib Yehuda, in that case, because at the end of the day, that's I'm allowed to charge, for example, a mikvah. How are you allowed to pay for a mikvah? The answer is it costs money to run the mikvah. There's electricity, there's things going on. They're allowed to charge for that. Once they're allowed to charge for that, they could charge extra renting cars on Shabbos. Similar idea. If I have a vending machine, right, a business of vending machines, again, in Goyish areas, we're not talking about Yiddish places, we're talking about Goyish areas, and I've got vending machines all over the place. I've got nursing homes, right, all over the country, Halavai or Maine, nursing homes all over the country, right, that will be kavaldik, right, and therefore, we never have to go fundraising ever again. So therefore, how am I allowed to have a nursing home on Shabbos? Again, leaving out the shaila of Maris Ayin, leaving out the shaila Mekech HaBemka, doing business on Shabbos, we will discuss that. How can I gain money? The answer is it costs me money to run the nursing home. It costs me money, the products in the vending machine. If that's the case, I'm allowed to charge for that, plus extra in that case. So here's a common shaila. What do you do with a babysitter? There's a big shaila with babysitters. Most people don't have a weekly fee for a babysitter. If that's the case, how do you pay a babysitter on Shabbos? Or if one of your children will be a babysitter on Shabbos, how can they charge? Or if you're paying a babysitter lifnei iver for the Yid, right? You can't pay it, even though the Issa of Sechar Shabbos is to receive, but you can't pay it for Yid. So what are you meant to do? So I have an Eitzah. I have an Eitzah of a babysitter. I didn't see this anywhere, but I think this is the emes to get Eitzah. And the Eitzah is very simple, and that is, what you do is you tell the babysitter to bring something when they babysit the kids, whether it's a diaper if it's a small kid, or some snacks, whatever it is if it's older kids. They bring something. Now they're allowed to charge for those things. They don't have to give those things for free. If they bring 6-pack of Bizzli, they're allowed to charge for 6 packs of Bizzli. Once they're charging for 6-pack of Bizzli, they can also say, by the way, it's an extra $20. That's what I do. It's havlah of putting it together with the payment that you owe them, which you have to give them anyway for the Bizzli that they bring. You can do that. Dubi, you like that Eitzah? That's a good Eitzah, no? No, that's havlah. That's called havlah, okay? Once you're allowed to pay for that, you're allowed to pay for everything. It's called havlah. Rashi and Bab Metzia, Rabbi say. So Al Kaponim, that would be an eitzah in that case over there. What about schar mitzvah, Rabbi say? Is a person allowed to pay for a mitzvah? For example, davening for the Omid, right? The Chazonim charge for Yomim Noroim to daven for the Omid. Or Balkoira, we said, right? For someone that's lining, or something similar to that. So the Beis Yosef says in Siman Shin Vov, he brings a machloikus rishonim. If a person is allowed to pay Schar Shabbos, meaning is a person allowed to receive Schar Shabbos profit on Shabbos, if it was for a mitzvah, right? So the Torah brings down a Maisa, Beis Yosef brings a machloikus between Rabbeinu Yechiel and Rabbeinu Shmuel Lemaisa. Halacha Lemaisa Shulchan Aruch Paskin Sifhei in Siman Shin Vov, he says a stam that it's asa, yesh oimrim that it's mutter, stam v'yesh, there are klonim about these things, but in Simon Tovkov Pehei, the Shulchan Aruch brings down Eino roya simon bracha la'olam. That means even if you make money, and it's mutter to make money, you will not see bracha from that money. We had a Bal Tefillah in the yeshiva for Yom Roim for a number of years. And I remember after the first year of davening here in yeshiva, he says to me, please, can we make a new arrangement for payment for Yom Noraim, because he davens Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Can we make a new arrangement? Because he said the money that he received for the first year that he davened in yeshiva, he saw that he had expenses that came up. Something weird happened. He didn't see Simon Bracha from it, and we made a new arrangement that he did things during the week. Whatever it was, we made an arrangement that he could do things that he got paid. So Al Kaponim, the halacha is, even for a mitzvah, halachically it's okay. That's what we paskin, but ain't a very simon bracha that a person can't do that. So Rabbi said we have to realize that many of the cases, what about? Same thing. For a mitzvah. No, you're not making money. You're just taking off a cheshbon. Good. We could erase it if you want. Okay, so when it comes to all of the businesses that we discussed in the beginning, that we said that when it comes, we have two havlah cases. We have law number one, that it's nichlal in something during the week and it's one payment, not that you pay during the week, but rather you don't get paid for the Shabbos, you get paid for the whole job, for the whole situation, and part of that is Shabbos, then it's mutter. There's no problem with gaining money and profiting because of Sechar Shabbos. Heter number two is havlah, is once there's an expense incurred by the person is allowed to be repaid for that expense, and once he's being repaid for that expense, he's allowed to add more money, and that will be havlah number two, which would come very, very negaya, as we said. A vending machine company, nursing homes, these are the heterim that they're using to make money for Airbnb apartments that they're renting. People rent apartments on Shabbos just for Shabbos. All of these things. Again, apartment renting could be different because you have havlah number one. Havlah number one is when do they rent it? They rent it also on Friday morning or Friday afternoon, and they only leave on Sunday morning, so then it's one payment for Shabbos is included. That would be havlah number one, but you also have havlah number two. Now the last shayla, which we're not going to get to now, is e-commerce and all the things on websites and on internet and all of these things, which we have to get to Amazon and we have to get to eBay, selling things, auctions that happen, people have websites that are being purchased. What is the halacha over there? It's negayat to Sechar Shabbos. It's also negayat to be mekach memcha that's being done, business, transactions that are happening on Shabbos Kodesh. But Ezra Hashem on Monday, we'll first start with the halachas of doing business on Shabbos, and then we'll get to all the practical ramifications of businesses in halacha in a very digital sense. Have a wonderful and beautiful day.